I just got to work, so it's currently like about to be 6:30. I have to clock in at 6:40, so it's about a 7-hour shift, and we'll see y'all when I get out. I just got out of work, currently waiting in line to eat some lunch now, some Chick-fil-A, and then we're gonna head back to our place, Casa. Just got out of the shower. Once I got back from work, I ate, cleaned up the place, went to the gym for a little bit, and now we're fresh out the shower. I'm a little tired, but I want to talk about something. Or we're gonna have a little chat. I know this is different from my usual content or just the content that I would like to make. I'm going through a point right now in my life where everything around me is changing. Me as a person, a lot of my mindset on things that I've been so hard-headed about for the longest time is changing, and I really feel like I'm evolving as a person. I kind of just want to have a one-on-one session. I just kind of want to chat about helping others find the better versions of themselves, the way that I am currently also trying to do. I've always been a very hard-headed person about a lot of things in my life. Just the way that I do things, the way that I go about things. I've always had this mindset of I have my way, that's the way I'm gonna do it, that's the way things are going to be. And I'm the kind of person who hates change. And a lot of people out there are the same way. Change is scary. Change, it's new, and it makes people kind of panic in a way. It can build a lot of anxiety. Sometimes it can even cause us to go into bad habits. And when I say bad habits, something as to an addiction that you might not realize is an addiction, but it is. And when I say addiction, I don't even mean like drugs. Yes, drugs, alcohol, like doing those things to help you cope. Yes, it's an addiction, but addictions can be something as simple as sleeping in super late. Let's say you had a long night, or and it really took a lot out of you, and that's not something you're used to. It's different, it's new. Therefore, you sleep in late. And you don't see it as a problem, but when it's a constant cycle, that's when it becomes an addiction. And you don't realize that you have an addiction now, because we don't think of things as small as sleeping in late as an addiction. Everybody has their own addictions, everybody has their own bad habits. It's just, do you realize it's a bad habit? And if you do now, what would you like to do to change that? I have a lot of bad habits, don't get me wrong. I've broken some over the years, but in this certain point in my life, I've realized that I'm trying to break most of them for the better. And I've never really tried to do that before. I've had bad habits when it comes to opening up, or small things like, sleeping in super late just because. And over time, I was able to fix those with more healthier components. Being alone and really thinking about how I go about things, I've realized just how many bad habits I have that I didn't realize were bad habits, things that were becoming addictions. Recently, I just got back into reading. I used to read a lot when I was a lot younger. Once I got into high school, I had stopped, and I just wasn't really, I got busy with a lot of stuff, and I didn't really think I'd ever get back into it. Recently, I just purchased 2 books that have caught my eye. I do want to get back into it. Something that I have slowly realized that's becoming an addiction of mine, that's I know is an addiction for so many other people out there, are phones. Phones have become such a necessity in people's lives. Of course, 125, you can't really live without your phone. You need it, whether it's, for work, keeping in touch with family. If you're not, phone isn't essential. Of course, it's essential. However, there is a fine line between an essential and abusing that essential. And phones, I think, is a common misconception of we overlook that, and the line gets very blurred. I have a really bad habit of doom scrolling or just being on my phone just because I have nothing better to do, and I'd waste away my days, especially now that I'm in an environment where I am alone and I don't have, my friends or my family to really distract me from keeping me from doing stuff, from going into my bad habits, or to keep me busy. Therefore, I lay down, scroll on my phone for hours, and waste away hours of my day where I could have been doing something more beneficial for me. And I realized it was becoming an addiction of mine, and I don't like ever being on my phone, and now I realize that I am more than ever. So that is a bad habit of mine. That's an addiction of mine that I didn't realize until now. How do we fix that? How do we fix addictions that have become so secondhand nature? It's become so a part of us. I'm replacing it with something better, a healthy way to cope. Reading. Every time I have absolutely nothing to do, or I'm tired and I just want to lay down, instead of going on my phone and scrolling for hours, I'm going to read out of my book. I'm going to set a goal for myself every day. I don't know how many chapters. I just bought this book about 3 days ago, and I'm already about to finish it. If I just kept ignoring the problem of my phone habits, I would have gone nowhere. I've found a healthier way to cope. And there's so many ways that you can do that regardless of what your addiction is. Yes, there's small addictions or stuff maybe not as serious as the phone compared to drugs or alcohol, where it's more, I guess, serious addictions. A big one for people is porn. Some people might not think they have an addiction to it, but you watch it once and wow, okay, this is nice, and then you kind of keep going back to that more and more, and then it gets to a point where it's become a part of your daily schedule, and you don't realize you've just developed a very unhealthy addiction. And, that stuff's not right. That stuff's not healthy. It messes with your head. It does. Everybody has an addiction, and regardless of what it is, I believe they're always serious if it's gonna affect you in a negative way and keeping you from just doing something better with your life, doing something better with your time. I moved away more than 15 hours away from home, from my friends, from my family, and I have a job, and I'm working, and it's this time more than ever I realized how much of an introvert I am and how bad it really has become. I've realized how just introverted I can be when I'm around new people, how, I'm just quiet, I'm observing, and there's a lot of people in the world who are like that. My advice to that is just be okay with being alone. Even though you feel alone and you feel like you don't really have somebody to turn to distract you from, like I said, going to these bad habits, you can still go out and do things. You don't have to have somebody there with you. And I know that's a scary concept for a lot of people, but it can be as simple as just going for a walk by yourself. It can be as simple as going out, finding a spot and working on something, right? Reading a book. A way that I've been pushing myself to go out more when I am alone and not with other people that I've met here is every week I at least try to go to the movie theaters once. Every time that I've gone by myself. And has that bothered me? Has it scared me in any way? No, it's honestly been it's been quite nice, and it's been very therapeutic for me because I'm getting out. I'm not just stuck in this place that I call home, because then I feel trapped. And when you're stuck in the same place for so long, you end up feeling trapped. So it's become very therapeutic for me to go out alone, just to go watch a movie, which is something I can do here in my home. I can watch a movie here. But going out and doing it in watching it with surrounded by the people who are also there, it's nice and it's therapeutic and it's comforting me knowing that I'm getting out and enjoying it and doing something that I love to do. Obviously being alone isn't always going to be great and it's going to be scary a lot of the time. However, I really think having a time in your life where you are being self-isolated for the good and better, isolating yourself away from everything you've ever known, is very crucial for your development. I think it's very needed to grow into becoming the person you would want to be. It's helping you develop more as a person, and I've realized that about myself more than ever. I've been developing and growing into a person that I want to be. And it's really helped change my mindset, my very unhealthy mindset that I've had for so long. It made me realize, hey, this isn't right. You know, why do I do this? Why do I constantly do this? If I know it's not right and I know it's not good for me, being alone, it gives you time to think and really reflect. And yes, to a point, it can be a lot. You know, a lot of people don't like being alone and having to reflect on stuff like that because it can be scary. At the end of the day, it's needed. And at the end of the day, as long as you're doing it in a more positive way and not beating yourself up about what you're doing wrong in life, why aren't things the way I want them to be in this moment? But instead, looking on it in a positive way and in a way of figuring out, okay, this didn't go how I wanted to. I really wonder why this isn't working out for me. And using that time to really reflect on how you can change it for the greater good and, you know, for yourself. Put yourself in a more positive mindset of, dang, I don't want to do this. Or, you know, having dread for what's to come that you know about. You reflect on it in a more positive way and really switch your mindset into, you know what, we're just going to do this and I'm going to try to enjoy it the best that I can. You know, or I get to do this. Doing what I do, it's draining, yes. It's a lot on me, and at first I was reflecting a lot on how much I just didn't want to be here and how much I wanted to go and I wanted to leave. And then I kind of flipped a switch and thought about it in a more positive way, in a way that I can reflect on it myself as like, you know, this opportunity, it's a huge opportunity for me and I'm beyond grateful to have what I have. And I'm just gonna make the most out of it for the time that I am still here. Yeah, you know what, today wasn't great, or this day at work that I had wasn't great. But there's always tomorrow, and I did like this and this and this about my day. And the things that I didn't like, well, I wonder why I didn't like that. Was it something I did? Was it something somebody else did? Switching something like that, even though it might not seem huge, it really is such a mind switch on how you think about things and how you go about things, and it really changes your perspective. Like I said, I've always been a very hard-headed person. Now, you know, realizing how bad of an issue that has become, and now I'm just being the most vulnerable I've ever been to fix that. I've never been religious by any means. I've never really spoke to God in a way that I maybe should be, but I never really believed that there was something there. I still don't. I hear people talk about God. They talk about the ways he's helped people and, you know, what he can do. And for so long I was so close-minded about, you know, just any religion. That just wasn't my thing. I'm trying now to be more open-minded, especially about stuff like that, because I do want to learn, I do want to grow as a person, and that's something that I do want to get more comfortable with and just learn from, and, you know, really pick up on of the concept and be more open-minded about, you know, God and giving myself to him. And I'm just not really sure where to start with that. I want to start, and I will slowly. I just know it's going to take time for something I've been so hard-headed about and so close-minded of. So that's something that I'm working on. I want to do that. I want to be able to be more vulnerable. It's always been a huge struggle of mine, and I want to be able to actually talk about the way that I feel about things, not just to the people I care about them the most, but just to anybody. Because if anybody's having a hard time out there and I can relate in any way, I want to be able to vocalize that I understand. Trust me, I get it, and I want to be able to help in the best way I can. And that goes for anybody out there. I want to help people become the better versions of themselves just as bad as I want that for me. I recently bought me a journal, and every day my goal is to fill up one full page of self-reflecting on my day and the way that I felt throughout that day, through the highs, through the lows, and just reflecting back on a positive way that I can really learn from it and help me grow as a person. It's a good way to help me get out things that I feel that I maybe can't get out to people sometimes, or just not really sure exactly how to word it in a way people can understand. And writing that out and setting a goal for myself in a way that I know I understand, and still being able to get it out there in some way, shape, or form, even though nobody would ever know or hear it or see it. That's enough for me. And that's enough to help me see and help me reflect and grow and learn more as a person, become the better person that I want to be. It's a piece of advice that I would give to anybody out there if you want to grow into becoming the better person, the dream version of yourself. If you have goals and you have something you want to do, if you're an ambitious person, the goal that you have is ambitious, just do it. Stop procrastinating. Stop falling back on these addictions and these bad habits that keep you from doing that. Just do it. You don't even have to vocalize it to people, because often when we vocalize what we want to do, we end up stressing ourselves out just a little bit, because now people know and they're expecting you to do this thing that you want to do. And now it's going to stress you out. And now it's going to make you less wanting to do that, and just only wanting to do it because of the expectation you have set for other people, and it's no longer the expectation that you had set for yourself. Set those expectations, of course, no matter how ambitious they are, but just do it. People don't need to know. And I know you're going to want to tell people, hey, I'm doing this. Hey, I'm doing this. But if you keep it to yourself, it means more to you at the end of the day. And you're doing it because you want to do it, not because anybody else is expecting you to, because they don't know. And then when you accomplish it, share it with the world. Share your accomplishment with everybody around you. Because at the end of the day, too, when you tell people and you end up not doing it, because let's be honest, you're probably not going to do it. I've done the same thing. I say I'm going to do something. I tell people who I care about that I'm going to do this, and I end up not doing it for that same exact reason that I just said. So just do it. Do what you want to do and help yourself grow as a person. Because at the end of the day, and this is, a sad thing to say, but nobody cares. And I'm not saying that people don't care about you and your accomplishments. I'm sure there's people in your life who do. And even though those people do care, it's not nearly going to mean as much to them as it does to you, because that's yourself and that's your goals. Just, people have their own lives and their own goals and their own expectations that they set for themselves, whether they let you know about it or not. People are more focused on themselves at their end of the day. And that's not a bad thing. Prioritize yourself. Prioritize what you want in life, and prioritize what you need to do to get there. It's your life at the end of the day. You are your own person. Do these things. Set these goals. Set these expectations. Get out of these bad habits. Get away from the addictions. And I'm not saying right away, but, not instantly, because that's not how change works. It's not just going to happen. It's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of work, regardless of what it is, no matter how small or how big it is. I don't know, if you were to pick up anything from this video, prioritize yourself, prioritize your goals, no matter what it is. Don't watch this and go back to the way you were living if you were unhappy. We all only live once, okay? We only live once, so do it to the best of your abilities. Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I've been learning a lot, I've been getting a lot of advice, and I want to be able to share that with people. And if I can help anybody in any way, then that satisfies me pretty well. Thank you guys for listening. I hope, like I said, I hope anybody can pick up anything from this video. I'm gonna try to, be more consistent. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm gonna be posting, but I don't know if this was a nice conversation and you really liked it, then I could maybe do more of this, who knows. That's it for today.